Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our first Q&A video leading up to the next episode of The Walking Dead Season 5, which would be episode 11, which is called The Distance. Okay, so we got a bunch of questions for this week. Going to break them up into a couple Q&As. Should have one each day for you guys. Let's see. So Friday today, tomorrow, Saturday should have a second one, and then Sunday maybe a third, depending. If you guys have any other video suggestions, send them to me through private message. Some people are wondering how to do that. You got to go to the About tab of the channel. Then you can send it to me directly so I can go ahead and make a video out of it. So have some good ones here, and just wanted to say basically, sorry I didn't get a video up for you guys yesterday, which would have been Thursday. It's just really cold outside, and I have trouble with energy when it comes to just when the weather gets really, really cold. I don't know why. I just have, I get really tired, and it's hard for me to, produce videos and that for you guys. So my apologies for that. That said, the first Q&A for this week, and the most commonly asked question is what my thoughts are on the Abraham infection situation. So what we're talking about is in them when you have Sasha, and she's all raging out because, of course, she's depressed and she's dealing with her anger in that way, or she's dealing with her emotions by getting angry and taking it out on some zombies. As a result, of course, what happened to Tyrese and Bob earlier on this season, which I'm sure we can all understand. So the scene in them when they're kind of walking, and then all these zombies are catching up, so they decide they have to address it, and they're planning on throwing all the zombies down into sort of a lower part off of the main little road there, beside the bridge where the small bridge was coming across. So at that part, basically they start, she starts killing zombies. She grabs one, she stabs in the head, another one. She does the same thing, which they don't want her to do because there's too many of them, and it's kind of chaotic and messy, because if one grabs you and you're not able to kill it right away, another could, come up beside it or something. It's just more dangerous than if you can kind of clear them off and then sort of either kill them from there when they're getting back up, or just throw them down and then and then kind of get your traction and just leave them there. So in it you have Sasha, who she kills a couple, and then she goes to kind of, come across and hit one, and she hits it in the neck. Then when she's coming back, she ends up cutting Abraham on his arm, just under the shoulder there, right in the middle of the arm, a little closer to the tricep than the bicep. And you can see it. She cuts him a little bit there. So a lot of people were thinking, is he going to be infected? Is he going to die from it? What do I think is going to happen with that? So my thoughts are on it is basically this. Yes, it's true that there would have definitely been zombie DNA on her blade, because she had just killed two previously in which the entire knife went through their heads, right? And then another one through the neck, right, to cut the neck. So there would have definitely been zombie blood on the knife, somewhere there. Granted, she did just nick him. It was small. It wasn't very deep or anything like that. It was just a little bit. But would the blood of the zombie cause him to become infected? So far as we've seen in the show, no. As far as we know, because there's been zombie blood everywhere. If you look at a character like Michonne, when she's in a group where you have Tyrese and he's in a group with a hammer, right, and they're killing tons of zombies, there's going to be blood splatter all over the place. Or if you remember in Season 3, when Rick goes back in after Lori with the whole C-section thing, and he's just killing them with an axe, like one after another, there's just the splatter will be everywhere, right? So at this point, I'd say it's pretty much conclusive that just because you get some blood splatter from zombies in the Walking Dead universe doesn't mean you're gonna turn. That said, if they bite you, possibly, we don't know about the scratch thing, because that was something earlier on in the series that Morgan had said at the beginning is, did you get scratched or anything? So we don't know about that. I don't think we've ever seen someone get infected from a scratch, and I think here and there, I think characters have been, I would assume, scratched up by at least one zombie they're killing or something of the sort, a little bit. So at this point in time, I would say most likely, if you don't get bitten, you're fine. If you don't get bitten, if you don't get their saliva in your body, you're probably okay. Anything aside from that in terms of blood splatter or scratched, or anything else, I would say at this point, I don't think will actually make you turn into a zombie. So in terms of infection and that, well, Rick says, as Jenner said, they're all infected with something that will turn them into zombies when they die. But in the capacity of, is he going to die from that little scratch? I don't think so, unless it gets infected or something, which, and actually, the bacteria or something, because obviously they are dead, so they're pretty nasty. So we can see something like that. But to be totally honest with you, I don't think they're going to elaborate on it anymore. I don't think they're going to touch on it anymore. I could be wrong. They could do something with it, because it wasn't in the episode, so it could mean something. But I just tend to think that, no, they've developed Abraham, they've put some time into him, and I don't think we're going to see him, be killed off the series from something as small as a nick. I think the point of that was to show that Sasha is reckless. So that's the most common question I've been asked this week so far. The next one I'm going to save for tomorrow's Q&A, and that is talking about Aaron and the possibility of him actually not being a good guy. So what about if they, in the TV series, went a different direction? And now you can read it a couple ways in the promo. One, you can read it that Rick is just kind of paranoid in the promo. But the other, you could read it as, what if they give us a remix of Aaron, and instead of him being closer to the comic book series version, if he's a different character, which we could definitely see something like, and I would actually like them to do. But I'm going to give my thoughts on that in the Q&A tomorrow. So that's the second most common question. We'll save that as the lead question for tomorrow's Q&A. So next question is from Real Toy Reviews. And he says, Trev, do you think Daryl will separate from the group by accident and meet up with the Saviors, and he takes Dwight's role from the comics, so he secretly helps the group in Alexandria while working for Negan? So, okay, I want to give my thoughts on that one. I still do think Daryl is Dwight. I think it would be weird in the TV series if we get there. We've got Daryl, and then we've got this other character named Dwight, who, is, I've got a figure of him right up there next to the Merle small one, who also uses a crossbow, is also very similar in terms of style, the way he dresses and everything, very similar to Daryl. So with him, I tend to think that they're probably the same. We'll end up seeing if my theory is correct or not when we get there, but I think they are. Also in the TV series, if you notice, and the reason why I definitely wanted to include this one from Real Toy Reviews, is every chance Daryl gets, he's going off on his own. And I can't be the only one who noticed that. If you look at them, the episode, right, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense, twice in the same episode, he's volunteering, and it did help them because he was able to find the barn, and that was good. But it seems to me that more so than just, for a function, for a purpose of him kind of going off by himself, it seems to me he wants to. He's kind of wanting to. I think it's that whole kind of thing of him not wanting to be around to see other characters die and that kind of thing because, he's tired of losing people and, that. And he's also talked about that previously before. But it seems to me more often than not, he is trying to find a reason to go off by himself. And we saw that in them. I think we're going to see that again in the future. And I think eventually, we're going to see him separate. Because also, I'm sure they pay him quite a bit. I'm sure he gets paid quite a bit. And it would help them kind of, we've seen it already where they'll have certain episodes that'll focus on him and Carol off in Atlanta, right? And they're the only ones we'll see for pretty much the whole episode, which I love that episode, by the way. It was so cool to see, Atlanta and everything. You guys remember that one. And then we have others where, some feature both him and Rick and everybody like that. But what we're seeing, I think, a lot of the time is we're seeing separation where, one episode you'll have Rick and the others, another episode, and you'll have the group split, this kind of thing. Unless they have to put them all in there together, they're opting to a lot of times try to split them up. And I think that's what we'll see happen eventually with Daryl. Now, that'll be a few seasons from now. But if he's still alive, which I imagine he probably will be, because it'd be quite a waste since he's ranked as, if you guys saw my video on that, he's actually ranked as the best character in the Walking Dead, which is crazy when you consider Rick and it being his story from the comic books and everything. But yeah, he is. So I do think you're right with that, Real Toy Reviews. I like the theory, and I think that's accurate. I think that's what we're going to see. Because two guys with a crossbow at the same time, very similar. Either Daryl is Dwight, or he's going to be like his arch nemesis in the future. I guess we'll see what happens. Either way, it'd be cool to see. I don't know which I would prefer. Maybe write which one you guys would prefer in the comments below. Either one would be cool. So there's my response to that. Next one's from Kari Ward, and he or she, not sure, says, will you please do this Q&A question? Do you think that Lydia, who is in the comics, will be in the TV series if the Whisperers do make an appearance on the show? And if so, do you think that her and Carl will have a strong relationship? And then he or she gets into spoilers, so I don't want to ruin what happens with that. So those of you who've read the comic series up to date, you know who Lydia is. She is a very clean-cut looking member of the Whisperers, which you would never expect considering what the Whisperers actually do. So very interesting character, very cool character in the Walking Dead comic series right now, around the same age as Carl. Do I think we'll see her in the TV series? Well, as long as the TV series doesn't get canceled or something, yeah. Now, I do think the ratings did kind of go down a little bit in them, but sometimes the ratings are going to go up and down for The Walking Dead. If it gets 12 million views in an episode or it gets 15 million views in an episode, hey, you know what? I'm sure AMC is happy either way. When their biggest premiere, I think, ever is like Better Call Saul, and I think it only did like 6 million or something like that, 6 or 7 million. So when you consider that, I'm sure the show will last. But yeah, hopefully they can maintain the quality and everything like that, and it'll continue to be good. But eventually, I think we will see those characters, the Whisperers. But it could be season like 12 or 13 or 14 or something. Especially if they use the time skip, which is 2 years in the comic books. They could make that like season 15 or something if they really wanted to, or further. Who knows? It really depends how much they add in, right? They could add in all they want, really. They could add in a whole season or two of completely new stuff and new deaths and stuff. Who knows? Yeah, so let's see, what time are we at? So we'll do one more. This one's from Mike's Boy 7333. And he says, hey, Trev, great vids, man. Keep up the great work. I have a question. In episode 9, how can we be sure that the zombie torsos in the trunk with W's carved in the head weren't actually living people from Charwilt that were delimbered and just died in the truck? Or, yeah, delimbed. Yeah, so that's a good one. I mean, it depends, right? I mean, I kind of talked about this a little bit recently, and I think that's probably what did happen. If they were just regular zombies, would someone go to the trouble of doing that, of actually carving a W in their forehead, cutting off their arms and legs so they can't move, and just leaving them there? It seems like a lot of work to go to, doesn't it? For no reason. Why wouldn't you just stab them in the head to put them down? So obviously the goal was not to put them down. It was to, I want to say, torture them. And I think you're right. I think they are the people from Charwilt, and possibly the wolves or whoever attacked them did that on purpose, did that because maybe the people of Charwilt were not willing to cooperate or had made them angry if something they did, fought back or something, or there was some kind of ongoing rivalry, we saw between like Woodbury and the prison, for example, and, the bad guys won, right, like the governor, and this is what they did to the survivors. I think that's exactly what happened, and it's pretty sick and it's pretty twisted, but what function could they serve? It's not like a Walker bomb like the governor would do, where he would have a whole bunch of zombies and he would set them free on another group as a distraction and then attack them or something. It's more like with this case. I mean, what use would a torso be unless you actually take somebody and put them in there, throw them in with all the heads or something, But even then, you might want to leave an arm or something. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think that's probably a form of torture or something. That's what we saw with that. So yeah, so I'll save the rest of the questions for tomorrow and maybe even one for Sunday. I think we got enough questions for it. So yeah, I'll call that here for today's, guys. If you like the video, please do me a favor. Please thumb it up below. Feel free to write your answers to any of these questions below, because there's nothing to say for sure that I'm correct or anything. It's just, this is my thoughts. This is what I think in terms of responses. So you guys leave yours below if you want to. And if you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, go ahead and click the subscribe button right there. And if you want to like the video, would appreciate it, guys. You want to share it. If you have a Facebook or Google+, you can click the share tool below. I do appreciate it. It helps the channel as well. If you want to favorite it, it does help as well too. And I'll probably see you guys tomorrow or Sunday for another Q&A. And then, of course, Sunday night for the next review for episode 11 now. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I'll call it here. So for this one, guys, see you soon. As always, it's Trev saying peace.